You're watching E.T.N. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob, and boy, let me ask you, don't you just love politics shoved into your entertainment? I know I do. So as you can see by the title of this article, Spider-Man Far From Home, the villain is the Trump era. Woo, 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 woo. So, you know, I love my entertainment. You guys know this. You know, I love my movies, my games, my Godzilla. And we all love to see our movies. We love to play our games because it's a form of escape, right? You do your daily grind. You go to work, you come home, you watch the news, or if you're younger, you go to school and things like that. So with the everyday demands of life, whether you're like me, who I'm a father, a husband, and got to take care of the family, got to make sure I take care of things, or if you're a young man who's doing, college and you're playing sports maybe, or you're doing college and you're working, whatever the case may be, there's a moment we all, male or female, doesn't matter, where we all need to unwind. We all need to escape. That's why we have entertainment. Unfortunately, there are some people who feel like they have a purpose in life to show you that no matter what, politics are important. I'm going to read this article. Now, it's a little long, so I may not read the whole thing because I don't want to spend the whole video reading it, but let's look at some stuff here. So, one of my favorite things about Spider-Man Homecoming and Spider-Man Far From Home is that they are very much about our current era. In Homecoming, the villain Adrian Toomes, aka the Vulture, is an entitled white guy motivated by his resentment. He sees a wealthy elite like Tony Stark who has screwed him over, and Toomes feels like that's a license to steal and hurt others. It's the kind of white working class rage where you're not really oppressed, but you still feel screwed over by the system. He was screwed over. But anyway, let's keep going. I'll say my comments about all this when I'm done. Far From Home continues looking at life in Trump's America by being even more direct about the villains, their motivations. And before I go on here, this hit me. There will be spoilers. So if you haven't seen Spider-Man Far From Home, I suggest you leave this video, maybe come back after you see it, because it is an interesting read. So again, covered the first paragraph where he compares Michael Keaton. Now we're getting into Far From Home territory. There's going to be spoilers. He talks spoilers in this. So if you haven't seen Spider-Man, come back later. But to make sure there's no... Oh, excuse me. All right, so this time around, the villain is basically Silicon Valley. The character may be Mysterio, Jake Gyllenhaal, but the villainy is really him and his team. Wow. A bunch of disaffected tech nerds who feel like they weren't properly respected by Tony Stark. Like Vulture, there's the painful entitlement and reckless disregard for the lives of others. The satire is razor sharp. No. Where you have a bunch of tech geniuses putting on a big show of helping others when in reality, they're just making things worse and serving their own interests. But to make sure, and what villain doesn't, honestly? I mean, if you're going to twist things into politics, you can describe this about any villain. They all serve themselves. But to make sure there's no ambiguity about it, in the final battle with Mysterio, the villain tells Peter, Tom Holland, Mysterio is the truth. And speaking of the populace, they'll believe anything. Mysterio's superpower is that he's able to conjure massive lies that people are willing to believe because they're already scared. He's taking advantage of a crisis, not working to solve it. The world is recovering from the blip. They know hostile aliens exist, so why not believe in an otherworldly savior figure who's like Thor and Iron Man combined? What makes Far From Home so damning is that it shows people don't really question a strong man as long as he promises to protect you. The crisis is manufactured, and Mysterio is both arsonist and fireman. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Because he already thought of this. Like, he already thought people were going to think this, so he quickly tries to put his rebuttal to what you might think in his article, so that way I guess he comes across smart. But check this out, because this is how you can see this if you're looking at it politically, which obviously, if you're watching it for entertainment purposes, you're not. Of course, some could take Mysterio's actions the other way and say that he represents fake news. No shit. You think? All right, I'm not going to read on. I'll leave the link in the description. Now, this comes from Collider, which we already know. If anybody knows about entitlement, it's Collider, okay? We all know about what happened during one of their podcasts where, I forgot the guy's name, I think it was Chris Harloff, maybe? Where he was upset that he didn't get to go to the Galaxy's End in Disneyland, and he threw a big riff about it on the fucking podcast and looked like an idiot. So Collider knows about entitlement, right? But here's the thing. Why? Why do you need to do this? I had a fun time watching this movie. Do you think for 1 second I'm thinking about politics when I'm watching Spider-Man Far From Home? Do you think anyone who's going to see a Spider-Man movie, or any movie for that matter, gives two shits about politics at this point? I mean, if you really want to break this movie down in the way you're viewing it, pretty much everything you're saying is just catering to what your narrative is. I can do the same thing, but that's if I view this politically, which I'm not. Nobody is. So why put politics on? What's the name of this guy? Matt Goldberg. Whatever. Again, rather than sit here and give a review of the movie, you're breaking it down in terms of politics. Nobody gives a shit about politics when they go watch a movie. Nobody. What are you doing? Like, really? And this is not exclusive to the entertainment industry in terms of movies and stuff like that. This is actually happening to a much worse degree in gaming, which is why sometimes it's a hard time. I have a hard time doing a gaming video that's not actually me playing a game and talking about it. But any game related news, it's plagued with politics. It's horrible. Sometimes I want to do something like this for a game and talk about something exciting, but you go to any of these fucking sites, man, and that's all they talk about is politics. It's fucking ridiculous. Can we just leave politics out of entertainment, please, for the love of God? I don't care what you believe. I don't care. If you saw the movie this way from a political standpoint, that's fine. If that's how you entertain yourself, by all means, go ahead. But don't bring this shit to other people. You're an entertainment website. Talk about entertainment, not politics. You know what I mean? And I don't care how you feel about Trump. I mean, there's, fake news, but that would ignore the fact that our big wet president, wet president uses the term. He's solely referring to news he doesn't like. Look, first of all, he says up here that, he says over here, excuse me, sorry about that. I was checking the time. I don't want this video to be too long. That people really don't question a strong man as long as he promises to protect you. What he's saying basically is nobody questions Donald Trump. That is absolute crap. That is absolute crap. Not only does everybody question Donald Trump, they put a lot of what he does into jeopardy, especially, when it comes to foreign policy, when he's overseas. I think everybody questions Trump, and I do think that when Trump calls fake news, is he 100% right? No. I think there's a fair argument to say that when he says fake news, that some of it is not exactly fake, but it's just not what he likes. But he's been right about that more times than he's been wrong. So, I mean, these people, man, look, if you hate Trump, just fucking, I don't know. And this whole thing about the lying, he mentions here about, how much Trump lies, every fucking president's lied. Really? Are we supposed to act surprised that a president or any politician for that matter lies? I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying they should do it, but to act surprised about it or act like, where have you been? Where have you been living? What politician does not lie? Every politician on the fucking planet lies. I mean, you really gonna why do you even bother listening to what they have to say if you know they're lying? Everybody knows they lie. It's like, this article is like, what are you doing? You have nothing here except rather than enjoy the movie for what it is and what it represents in terms of having fun and the growth of a character and the motivation behind a villain, because really what makes a good villain is what motivates them, finding out how they were wronged, but instead of that, we're comparing him to white privilege, which there's no such fucking thing. I know I've known just as much poor white people as rich black people. I mean, honestly, this whole privilege thing, do you get paid to write this shit? Really? This is the worst fucking thing I've read ever. And I've been covering the entertainment articles, for a long time. And of recent, for the most part, this really doesn't pop up too much. I was actually surprised to see this. And I definitely want to talk about it here in this video. I wanted to, because we're going to come to a close now. Because this is what I'm talking about when I tell you guys, this is politics. This is a prime example of politics being shoved into entertainment. Like I said, it's always been there, but it's to a whole nother degree. My thing is, if Trump actually wins this election, it's going to get worse. Everything is going to be political. So just dumb shit. If you decide to read it. It's a good laugh. This guy really makes himself look like a fool. Everybody's entitled to their political opinion, but leave it for the news. If this is the kind of stuff you want to write about, then go write for the Daily, New York Times or the Washington Post or something. Don't come to a fucking entertainment website and start pushing your narrative and your politics. Nobody wants to hear it. People watch videos and content on YouTube, or they go to watch the movies, or they go to these websites to read about entertainment, to read about maybe the latest review or the latest movie. And they go to the movies and they go play video games because they want to escape the very thing you are shoving down people's throat with this bullshit ass article. So Matt Goldberg, bad job, horribly written. Keep your shit out of the entertainment industry. That's the best advice I can give you. Because between what happened on Collider's podcast a couple of weeks ago with the whole Star Wars Galaxy's End and this shit, your website and your podcast are really beginning to look like, dare I say it, woke. And we've seen what happens to other websites when they become woke. So my suggestion, quit your day job and go write for a news article, a newspaper, or an online news media. Don't write for entertainment. Not with this crap. This is crap. I might actually print this out and piss on it. That's how bad it is. Anyway, guys, that's it for this video. This is Rob signing off for E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.
Thank you for watching E.T.N. Click here to watch more content. Don't forget to leave a comment. Also, make sure you like and share this video. If you want to know when the next video is up, click the notification bell next to the subscribe button. And most of all, make sure to click that subscribe button for regular content.